It is my pleasure this Sunday to introduce our guest speaker. Bruce de Ste Croix is an amazingly accomplished man. I have known him, and I have known him very well for over 20 years. And I feel like every day I learn something new that he has been involved in life. So I am very pleased, and I welcome from my heart Bruce de Ste Croix.
Good morning, and thank you all for coming out on this glorious sunny summer day. Once a year, I have the opportunity, thanks to this sweet congregation, to get up here and stand in for the minister, and today is the day when I get to do that, so hopefully it'll go smoothly and you'll have a good time. Today's prayer is a poem by Maya Angelou, "Preacher, Don't Send Me." Preacher, don't send me when I die to some big ghetto in the sky where rats eat cats of the leopard type and Sunday brunch is grits and tripe. I've known those rats, I've seen them kill, and grits I've had would make a hill or maybe a mountain. So what I need from you on Sunday is a different creed. Preacher, please don't promise me streets of gold and milk for free. I stopped all milk at 4 years old, and once I'm dead, I won't need gold. I'd call a place pure paradise, where families are loyal and strangers are nice, where the music is jazz and the season is fall. Promise me that, or nothing at all. Today's reading is a story by Lauren Isley. Once upon a time, there was a wise man who used to go to the ocean to do his writing. He had the habit of walking on the beach before he began his work. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he looked down the beach and saw a human figure moving like a dancer. He smiled to himself and thought of someone who would dance to the day, and so he walked faster to catch up. As he got closer, he noticed that that figure was a young man, and that what he was doing was not dancing at all. The young man was reaching down to the shore, picking up small objects and throwing them into the ocean. He came closer still and called out, "Good morning. May I ask what it is that you're doing?" The young man paused, looked up, and replied, "Throwing starfish into the ocean." "I must ask then, why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" asked the somewhat startled wise man. To this, the young man replied, "The sun is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them in, they'll die." Upon hearing this, the wise man commented, "But young man, do you not realize that there are miles and miles of beach, and there are starfish all along every mile? You can't possibly make a difference." At this, the young man bent down, picked up yet another starfish, and threw it into the ocean. As it met the water, he said, "It made a difference to that one. I woke this morning in paradise, amazing place to be. A spit of sand revealed by sunrise between the bay and sea, complete in wholeness, both good and bad. Nothing had changed but me. I'd gone to sleep disheartened and sad. Dreams coaxed me carefully. Paradise had called throughout the night. Let go, awake and see. Refreshed, you'll recognize in daylight the way it's meant to be. My eyes and my ears opened renewed, my mind stopped judging me and melted ego's ongoing feud. My heart stepped forward free. Paradise is where I live with you, where friends share loyalty, imperfect beings asserting good in reciprocity. This summer, I go to Herring Cove each morning before 7 with my dog Connor, and we both go swimming with the seals. I lay on my back in the cool ocean looking at the blue skies and letting the waves rock me. Connor swims out to check on me, then back to the surf and out again. It's our swimming game. One morning, mid-July, after I'd finished writing the bulk of this piece, we were trudging through the sand leaving the beach. A tiny glint of red caught my eye, and I bent down to see what it was. It was a small, flat rock with red writing on it. On both sides, someone had written in red ink, "Another year of bliss, 2015. That I found that message seemed to confirm that I'd written about something others also experience: paradise. The overarching message of my thoughts today is one of gratitude. And although I've been known to complain about the weather, summer traffic, people, and politics, too cold, too hot, too many people, and no one here, each day I wake and know I am grateful to live here. Most days I lie in bed for a few minutes in the early morning and just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over again like a mantra or chant, not to anyone in particular. I just say it. Then I get up, start the day, and work on becoming the real curmudgeon that I aspire to be. This year, on the 1st of April, the entire third parking lot up at the high school was still filled with 8-foot deep snow, and winter's presence had lingered into spring. A week later, I was having a casual conversation with my good friend Joe Carlio, who runs the AIDS support group of Cape Cod. Our conversations often run the gamut from our social conscience, his parents' early work in civil rights, our years of dedication to the HIV, AIDS, Hep C communities, all the way to adventures in cooking and eating or the challenges of daily life in a very small town. That day, we'd been talking about the incredibly long, hard winter we had just endured here on the Lower Cape. We were musing over how this small, isolate community pulled together and supported each other in order to get through the many blizzards and frigid weather. Sometimes the support was, "I have a generator, come over." Other times, it was no more than listening to each other's complaints and snowy sagas. We were remarking on how Provincetown and the Lower Cape had always done the same in storms, epidemics, disasters, and hard times. Then Joe used a phrase that caught my attention. He said, "Here we are, survivors in paradise." It stuck with me and inspired the beginnings of these thoughts. The 3 words, survivors in paradise, tantalized me. They surfaced and resurfaced like dolphins or whales rising from deep in my unconscious to breach and blow at unexpected moments over the next few months. And like the sighting of a whale, each time the phrase broke the surface of my mind, my heart stopped, and I felt that I knew something without knowing. The realization of a truth that my mind did not alone generate. Its generation included all of me, mind, body, emotions, and spirit. I swear that even my ego and soul were along for the ride. I was intrigued. Something about the juxtaposition of survivor and paradise had me hooked. Slowly, the ideas in this sermon emerged. Connor, my chocolate lab, simply loves all kinds of weather. So I'm out walking on the beach or in the woods twice a day, every day. It is ever-changing, showing many different faces of beauty and drama. And as people about me are fond of saying, it really doesn't suck here. The power and the beauty of the Lower Cape forced me to recognize that paradise is not just a place, but a point of view about loving where we are. And equally, it is a point of view about recognizing how we are bound together. Bound together whether we agree about housing, politics, money, and power or not. Here, we live in nature's beauty and rely heavily on each other for our survival. We live in a remote, unique environment of miles of sand surrounded by sea. In the unexpected universe, Lorne Isley said, every time we walk along a beach, every time we walk along a beach, some ancient urge disturbs us, so that we find ourselves shedding shoes and garments, or scavenging among seaweed and whitened timbers, like homesick refugees of a long war. As Joe and I had noted, it requires strength and wit to survive on a spit of sand at the end of the world. Besides surviving natural disasters and communal challenges, we also face the vagaries of village life. When I first moved here, some friends said, well, welcome to Tiny Town. The appellation has persisted and spread. This is a place where someone is watching you almost every minute. Seriously. People know your car, your bicycle, and your schedule. When I first moved here, I got a haircut. I arrived home to the phone ringing, and this was back when we had landlines. And after hello, a voice said, I hear you just got a haircut. It's 25 years later, and yet last month, while I was cleaning my apartment, which is just above the veterinarian's office, I noticed my cell phone light up, and I saw that I'd received a text. It was a single word from James Mack. Vacuuming? He and John were downstairs at the vet's and could hear me running my vacuum. So you see, you can't even clean house without someone knowing what you're up to. That's tiny. This kind of close scrutiny alone makes us survivors. It leaves us exposed and asks us to be patient with each other. But without the intimacy of this extreme closeness, the caring that we show each other in troubled times would probably not be possible. We, like any small community, sometimes disagree, behave badly, and don't treat each other with love and respect. It happens. There are feuds and unkindnesses that erupt and spill over, cruelly rippling out and wantonly affecting the fabrics of our lives. We survive these downsides living here because the scales are weighed heavily in the other direction. Survivors learn to accept and welcome life. And aren't we all survivors? At this time of year, there is a free-for-all of garden produce, with zucchinis, herbs, tomatoes, peppers, pickles, and greens being traded and gifted back and forth. My friend Maureen makes huge vats of incredible vegetable soup and shares it freely and lovingly with everyone she knows. Everyone I know who lives here has an open door to their friends and families who want to come and visit. Paradise. People here volunteer to run the soup kitchen, library, churches, town government, and every major organization. Members of this congregation offer rides to doctors, Linda and Barbara in particular, and helping hands abound. Ordinary people check on you when you don't show for a meeting and when you are sick, and reach out to each other in times of trouble to find out what is needed. You can see for yourself throughout the town that we greet each other and guests with smiles and hugs liberally. Paradise. I've lived on the Lower Cape for about 25 years now. Early on, I'd walk a different dog in the woods in Truro every morning, rain or shine. Often we ran into a local fisherman, David Dutra, and his wife Judy with their dog. David's greeting was always the same. "Another day in paradise." To which I would invariably reply, "Yep, amazing." Many of my friends greet me or unexpectedly stop mid-sentence to exclaim the same thing: "Another day in paradise." Here we are, a community of eccentric individuals who delight in where we live, who love this far-flung land embraced by the sea. Sometimes we just get so distracted, and in that distraction, we forget to be grateful for its beauty. I discovered that for me, paradise needed to contain everything, both the positive and the negative, the whole yin-yang, a totality beyond our judgments, a grandeur that challenges us and rattles our cages, where life includes not just the pleasurable, but the terrifying. We become survivors of life's immensity here in paradise, beautiful in its seamless complexities and awesome in its terrifying power. I pondered many questions as I strove to better understand why this phrase rang so completely true. Here we are, survivors in paradise. Is paradise the land of milk and honey, or does it include hardship and sorrow? In tales, myths, and scripture, paradise has serpents, fallen angels, warring gods. Osiris is dismembered, Lucifer falls, Lilith rebels, and betrayals abound in the paradises of literature. In some paradises, there's a rigid class structure, and those at the top get a better paradise. And in others, paradise itself appears to be a walled community equipped with gates and guards. The questions that I was asking myself lay closer to Henry Miller's thinking in Big Sur and the Oranges of Hieronymus Bosch. Certainly paradise, whatever, wherever it be, contains flaws. Paradisical flaws, if you like. If it did not, it would be incapable of drawing the hearts of men and angels. Sometimes the questions seemed to be almost poetic in nature. Maybe that's just me. I'd ask myself, are there tears in paradise? Surely tears of joy and tears of laughter, are they not part of paradise? So why not tears of cleansing grief and relief? And why wouldn't there be tears of loss that bring our new beginnings? Not for me a paradise of static bliss, a kind of unreality. I agree with Maya Angelou. Preacher, please don't promise me streets of gold and milk for free. I stopped all milk at 4 years old, and once I'm dead, I won't need gold. I'd call a place pure paradise, where families are loyal and strangers are nice, where the music is jazz and the season is fall. Promise me that or nothing at all. Originally, the word paradise from ancient Iranian meant a walled or enclosed garden or orchard. Here we are at the end of the world in a beautiful garden with only one entrance. We call it Route 6. And even this planet, when seen from outer space, is an enclosed garden gliding around the sun. In our original conversation, Joe and I were wrapping the pluses and minuses of small town life into our sense of survivors in paradise, and including the many visitors we share this place with. But in that conversation, we were unquestionably also referring to the beauty of the natural world here as paradise. I feel it in my very bones that this is paradise, no mistaking it. Even in the worst of wild storms, this is paradise for me. Much less on a summer's day when the sun shines on both bay and ocean and vibrates the air with a shimmer of light that lifts the heart. Every time I see someone take a cell phone pic or post one on Facebook, every time someone slows down to look at the waves and expanse of sea and sky, every friend's colorful garden, the changing tides, the reeds, the grasses, the dunes and small islands of shady woods make my heart sing. Paradise. As my friend Jane is fond of saying when she looks across the Pamet marshes, it never disappoints. Edward Abbey wrote, "The love of wilderness is more than a hunger for what is always beyond reach. It is also an expression of loyalty to the earth which bore us and sustains us, the only paradise we shall ever know, the only paradise we ever need, if only we had the eyes to see." Whether it is the sunrise from Miller Hill, the symphony of the oaks in the Truro Woods, the foxes, deer, and wild turkeys, the sound of the breezes and the breakers, and the sunsets over the bay, everywhere we turn, astounding sights envelop and awaken our souls. The beauty of this place leaves me breathless and refreshed. Our small, special paradise. The geese are already veeing up in small groups and flying over town, honking the coming change to fall. Paradise is talking to us, and its call is thrilling us. When you leave here, stop for just a moment and look around with fresh eyes and re-recognize the beauty of this place. And you'll understand why I am convinced that we can all be grateful for the honor of being survivors in paradise.